All right, hello everybody on this Sunday evening. Another week ahead of us here in the month of August. And the big question everybody wants to know is, will it or won't it? That is rain. A lot of people echoing the concerns of how dry things are getting for some spots, especially here in the Twin Cities. And we're actually almost 2 inches behind rain when we look at since July 1st. And that's pretty significant. We should see about 5 inches at this point, July 1st to August 9th. And we've seen just a little more than 3 inches. That excludes some of the rain that some of us saw this morning, but that was actually pretty hit and miss. So we'll see if it happens. Right now, we're looking at what's called a capped atmosphere, and I'll explain that a little bit here. We'll get a little geeky for you. That cap has been across central and southern Minnesota here for a good chunk of the day. And what a cap means is basically we have warm air in the middle of the atmosphere so that this hot, humid air that we have, it's unstable. It tries to rise and produce clouds, and it just falls back down because it hits air that's actually warmer than it. And so how that happens is when we get a big flow of air of warmth from the south or southwest, it comes from an even hotter area at higher places is usually how we get that cap to form. And one of the ways we can actually see that is by watching the clouds. And this is from a few hours ago, but those ripples in the clouds that I've shown here, that shows those buoyancy waves, these pockets of air that try to rise. They do produce some shallow clouds and then they descend again. But we did have some storms further west trying to get through the cap, and there are some storms trying to get through right now. Now, the line of storms that were developing earlier and were strong across North Dakota and northwestern Minnesota, those have collapsed, but we are starting to see some cells pop here within the cap, which means that the cap is starting to weaken, and usually how that happens is the air cools off aloft, or we have cooler air moving in from the middle of the atmosphere, which we do have a cool front moving through that's going to bring relief from the humidity. So if you're in the South Metro right now, you're seeing some thunderstorms, nothing severe, but there is that potential. There is plenty of energy in the atmosphere, and basically what we're looking at are storms that'll be popping kind of on and off randomly rather than in an organized fashion, but there's just enough juice in the atmosphere that we can't rule out that some of those storms turn severe. I don't think we're going to see widespread severe weather, but this is actually at midnight. You can see this particular short-term model. It's a high-resolution rapid update model, we call it, producing some storms here about midnight, 1 a.m., coming through. So there will be some hit and miss thunderstorms. Do not be shocked to hear some brief downpours and some thunder and rain, but will it be the kind of relief that we really need? Maybe not. Here's a look at the rainfall. Speaking of which, the top is the rainfall over the last 30 days. You can see we're behind. We're seeing a growing deficit that was in Iowa earlier in the summer, now expanding to include southern Minnesota, and now has been reaching up towards the metro. So we're seeing an area of dry conditions expand. Not drought yet, but again, about an inch or two behind for most of the metro, much more in Iowa. And the bottom figure is where we are when we look at it since June, or since the middle of May, actually. So 90 days. Remember, it was a wet start to the summer. So when we look at the 90-day precipitation, we are actually doing pretty decent, but it's that recent 30-day period that shows the drier weather along with the cooler weather. So I know people complain about the heat and humidity, but it does bring us more thunderstorms. So humidity is important, and hopefully we're getting back into that kind of wetter pattern. It looks like we were in a few weeks of a lull, but we did get some rain earlier today. Of course, many of you saw that. This is from a follower, Jacob, on Twitter, sent this. Over 1.25 inches in Victoria, and some places we're very lucky to get quite a bit of rainfall. It was much less as you moved east. I know the southeast metro, you guys got basically nothing, but we're hoping for some of that rain tonight. Again, right now there are some cells popping up in the south metro. As far as the extended forecast, I've got a fancy new animated version of the forecast for you. Big drop in humidity tomorrow. So dew points are close to 70 now. They're going to be in the 50s the next few days. Lots of sunshine Tuesday, Wednesday. Temperature is pretty much steady in the mid-80s, which is right at or slightly above normal. Actually, now that we're heading into August, those average temperatures, yes, are slipping, just like we're losing minutes of daylight each day. Some isolated thunderstorms on Thursday, and then Saturday, maybe the slightly better chance of some spotty storms, but all in all, looking pretty warm, and it is going to start to get a little more humid again later in the week, hence that chance of some thunderstorms. But again, a few thunderstorms out there right now in the South Metro popping up, and that chance that we will see at least some spotty storms overnight, but it will not probably bring the widespread rain and the widespread relief that we need to that dry situation. So enjoy the drop in humidity, though, and we will have a few very nice days.